little hesitance there, but we are back. Welcome everybody to AMF Pin Palace here in Huntsville, Alabama for the Damn Good Average Bowlers Sunday Sweeper number 5. We have completed it. Joining me, I got Ricky and Nick. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Who are actually doubles team 9 or better. What night do you guys bowl?
Monday night.
Monday nights, 9 or better. You got to speak up now.
All right.
You
Trio.
come second. I know you ain't a quiet guy. Now you can speak up. Okay. So we thank you for joining us, guys. Today, sweeper number 5, the top 5 we had Jeff Heath with a 633, Rickey Graham 620. We're gonna come back to those. Nick Delgado, our very own Nick here, bowled a 590. Nick Hallman 575, very good. And Jeff Johnson Jr. the 570. Now, as Coach Mike, he's behind the camera right now, but pointed out beforehand, this is the first week now, 5 weeks complete. 2 600 series, 6 or better 600 series have been done. Rick, you bowled a 620 today. So, what'd you think? Was it this pattern? Now, the pattern we were on was Autobahn. That's a 42-foot pattern. So, let me ask one more thing, and we'll lead into that, and we'll let you go for a minute. So, this is the 5th week. You've been here for all of them.
I think I missed the first one though.
Okay, so maybe one, but you've been here most of them. You've been for most of them.
I've been for 4 to 5.
For the majority of it, right?
Yeah.
Through the patterns that you've bowled on so far and then into today, what's been the toughest pattern? And was today easier since you had a 620?
I think the toughest paddle was the 28 feet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you did scratch, you won't get no spares. And that's how I lost it from that day. I picked no spares. And today, it really wasn't that hard today, but I kept getting tapped with 9 count.
Okay.
My first 2 games, I had 9 all over. And just 110 just when I fall.
So, okay, a little easier today, but you left a lot of the spares?
Today I picked them up.
Okay. And that's, we talk about all the time. Coach knows, I know you guys know that you got to clean up the spares. What does he like to say, Coach?
Strikes are for show, spares are for dough.
That's
Yeah.
right, spares are. You got some
I
dough
might have
there.
missed 1 spare each game.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad to me like this. No.
And so, Nick, going to you. You've done most of them. So the patterns that you bowled on so far, what do you think was the toughest one for you? And then what kind of helped you get that 575 in place today?
I think the second week for me, because I missed the 28 foot. I was bowling the city tournament, so thank goodness I missed the 28 foot pattern. The second week was probably the trickiest so far, and then this week I would say it was the easiest. In practice, the way they were rolling up, you could angle as long as you hit in that gear area. It was a good shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that you had more air room today, but there was a little more forgiving, it sounds like.
It was a little bit more forgiving this week.
As long as you don't get it on the way outside. Get it way outside, you can forget it.
Just skating on ice the rest of the way down.
Just to let you know, Curtis says that this sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Curtis. He's feeling a little rough today, but still like a champ. He's working hard for us. He's checking outside on YouTube, so we appreciate Curtis. He's a third part of our broadcast team. So, as I mentioned, I'm fairly new to this. I love bowling forever. I've been in leagues a long time ago. I'm in the league now. But I'm learning kind of the next level stuff, what sweepers are. All right, and it's fascinating because you're bowling 3 games and you're shifting each game. As we do that, guys, so that would mean for you listening, if you start on lanes 1 and 2, that's where your first game is. The next game you're going to bowl on 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6. So how do you find adjusting to that, guys? We'll start with Rick again, but then coming to you after that. Is there typically a certain amount of balls that it takes to adjust, moving from lane to lane, and what can be a struggle about that?
No, I don't think that was the problem. They played about the same except for the second half of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then I changed balls from that one, but I throw basically the same just about all day, and 2 holes apart.
Okay. So you've got your nice little pocket there.
Yeah.
You don't have to stray too far from that.
No, I didn't have to move that much at all.
Now,
I just couldn't get the carry just didn't carry like I wanted to.
now in other ones, typically, kind of speaking in generalities, do you find that typically stays the same no matter what pattern you're on in a sweeper or where you go for things?
Yeah, you just struggle all 3 games. Yeah, because you can't, you can get scratch every once in a while, but the spares,
Yeah.
it's just hard to get spares on any of the other 3 games.
And so same question for you, Nick. What do you think? Does it feel like there's a significant adjustment period as you're shifting down? Is it sometimes immediate? Does it sometimes take longer?
It depends. I'm used to it. I like the adjustment. I like changing lanes.
Okay.
Especially on sports shots and everything. It makes you, so you look at your shot and you're watching what you're doing, but you're also looking at the lane beside you, you're watching their balls and how they react, so if you go over there, you already know if you need to make an adjustment or not, especially after the first game. The first game is you're bowling, that first game you're watching the lane beside you because you're watching how their balls react, because you're following whatever they're doing. So you're always, no matter what you're bowling, if you're changing lanes, you're looking at the next pair and watching what they're doing while you're also trying to bowl on your lanes.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, you see their balls hooking, you just start adjusting your own stuff. This is coming up for you too.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I was actually going to ask that next. So you are kind of rubbernecking, not so much rubbernecking your opponents, but you're looking to see what's going on next door.
Right.
And then so I know bowlers, we kind of talk a lot because yes, you're competing against everybody, but you were worried about the ball that you're throwing. So, right, there's many variables with that. So is there also some talk between, is it just like if your buddy's over here, or does everybody kind of communicate like, hey, it's drying up, or make the adjustment here, or talk about that, guys?
No, I'm gonna say, we talk about it and say, hey, this ball's jumping, especially Ricky and I. Like I said, we're teammates on Monday night, and today we were bowling in the same lane, but other times we're bowling on different lanes, but we still talk in others. We said, hell, hey, this lane's jumping, and you still talk because you still have to make the shot.
Even with
It's still,
guys, like
you can have all the knowledge in the world, it's still coming off your hand, and
yeah, you get about the other guys too, though. Like when you watching them, so they helping you too. So you tell them what's going on, even though you still trying to beat them, but you still like throw it out there. Oh, it's dry out there, or whatever's going on. Or don't get outside 10 p.m. and ain't coming back.
yeah.
It's kind of like now that we're back in football season, I've seen this a lot lately, that the other teams may know what play we're calling. And I like the quarterbacks that will say that, yeah, this is a play we're on, and guess what? You still got to stop it. You still got to defend it. And it's kind of like that with your throws. You see the line, it's like, okay, cool. I still got to execute that ball.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened to me tonight is I had the case of the pulls.
Mm-hmm.
I probably pulled half, or at least a third of my shots today. And yeah, I had a beautiful line, but I kept yanking it, and it's still up to me. I was the one who was doing it.
Right. And so, and you can talk about this too if you want, but let's elaborate again. You're very in tune with me because you're getting to my next point each time, so great job on that, Nick. When you do that, you continue to pull, and the mistake that you're kind of making right now, talking about pulling it or tucking a crossbody, that's basically just going to hook it to the other side real quick. This is, I'm translating for us lower level skill bowlers, all right? But when you do that and you keep making the same mistake more than 2 or 3 times in a row, and you know that you're doing it, now is that almost add another layer to where you're getting in your own head now?
Yes.
How do you get away? How do you get out of that?
I don't think I did. That's why I finished fourth. I had a beautiful shot. Yeah.
Well, you stayed in the money, man.
I stayed in the money, thank goodness. The last couple of weeks, I was in first place after 2 games, both times, and in the last game, one week I fell all the way out of the money because of the last game, and the other week I fell down to third, I think third last week, or 2 weeks ago, but it's hard.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing, I know what I was doing wrong, and still go up there and keep repeating, and that's the entertaining part. While we
That's why we all
we
keep
know we're
pressure.
better, but we still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see what's going on. I keep telling myself when I pull the ball, put the ball down on the floor. If I put it down on the floor, I'm not gonna come across it. So if I put it down, if I come across, I mean I got the ball out and come across my body. Put the ball on the floor. I just keep telling myself. I see everybody that's doing it. All they gotta do is put the ball down on the floor.
Yeah. That's a good way of knowing a mistake and preventing it.
Exactly.
Where if I do this correct, and that's going to prevent that. Maybe he's telling you, Nick, just lay down.
I just want to say,
Tell him that.
We talk all the time on Monday nights.
yeah, we're gonna add that to our talks on Monday night.
So with this, a couple more questions, and then Coach, you chime in anytime. And if you're watching this, chime in with any questions you may have. Going back to making adjustments. Anybody that's been bowling more than once, you get your first ball, and it's almost like tattoos where it gets addicting. You know? So we were talking about this a little before we went on. Ricky, how many bowling balls do you think you have in your possession?
I probably had close to 10.
About 10?
Yeah.
What about you, Nick?
I got 13.
13?
Yeah.
So when you're coming into a sweeper, do you bring more balls than normal if you were just going to a regular tournament, or is it the same? You have your same stockpile that you bring? You talk about that, guys.
Well, the sports shot, it don't matter what ball you bring. You just got to learn to adjust. Well, you do pick them out, leave some at home, or you leave them in your car.
Mhm.
That's the time you get them. Or you just try to play a tighter line, because you know if you get too deep, if you get out too wide, it's going to stay there. You get a couple balls inside, it's going to hook on you. So you try to be consistent throwing the ball right there inside. Know what ball you got, you're gonna do that for you. And I played 2 balls today. And the second ball, which helped me win the second game.
So that's an interesting point. We'll get your reply, then I may come back on something with there.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So, like, league night, I'll just say league night, I bring 6. I always know what it's going to do, but I started using a plastic ball for my 10 pin. So that's why I started bringing, because it's easier to bring 2 3-ball bags. But typically only use about 3. Today, I brought 6. I kind of knew the shot was the 42-foot Autobahn, so I kind of knew about how I was going to play. But if it was like last week, that 28-foot shot, I would have brought everything I had and shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
See what happens.
But you would have somewhat of a starting point where you kind of throw that ball in another.
Yeah, I always have a starting ball, and I've been trying to go into, like today, I came in and grabbed my normal ball that we use on the normal house shot, and with no preempt, didn't look at the oil pattern, didn't look at I was like, just roll the ball, and just from there. So how I would do on a normal house shot, and then I can make adjustments for there.
Yeah.
That's the last couple of weeks. That's how I've played it, and it's worked out pretty good.
Nice. Kind of zero in on it.
And instead of preemptive trying to look at it, okay, I've got to play this, I got to look online and read it. I was like, no. Roll your ball and see how it does for you.
Yeah. Let's get a ball on the lane and see what it actually does.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with that, you kind of mentioned you knew that you had 2 balls that you were throwing.
Yeah, today I had 2 different balls. Well, like I said, I started out with the first ball and I was scratching. I was good. So I get 9 pin. Couple of Brooklyns. It starts going through the head a lot of times, getting on the left side and the side. So that's why I changed balls to one that don't snap as much.
Okay.
Then I got right back in the pocket again, but still have some more 9s slipping in somewhere.
Do you ever feel like, maybe same for you, you get previously committed? You're like, I know I'm using these 2. By God, this is what we're throwing. And we're not coming out of that.
No, never.
That's why I pick up a lot. I should have changed earlier, but I'm sticking with this ball because I'm so close to it. So I stick with the ball and I screw up.
What usually happens in that point is you change balls, it's the 10th frame, you strike out, and then you're really cussing at yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there you could kind of lock yourself in, but then on the other line, when you start pulling that thread, then you just get to be clueless and you have no idea what you want to throw, and now you're grasping at straws, doing the exact opposite of what you had just talked about.
Right.
Getting a baseline, now you're like, I have no idea what to throw.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I'm really good at that, and I have no idea where I'm at.
Yeah, today. I thought like I said, the shot wasn't bad. It just if I get 9 pin, I said, well, don't change balls and get splits.
Yeah.
Keep the 9 pin, pick up the easy spares. If I get anything worse, you're gonna take out your money.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
lose.
Ricky, since you bowled on 28 feet last week, tell everybody how that was.
28 feet was real tricky. I actually played 2 different shots on the 28 feet. I first started out on the left side, trying to throw it over to the middle, to get the middle part. Last game, I was so confused. I got my spare ball. I stood all the way to the right, came right up the line. And then I started scraping out, but I still had a problem with spares. Spares were just kidding on that shot. But it's a good shot to practice on it. So whenever you go into a bowling alley and the lane's dry, practice on it.
Yes.
It's your practice you need to go and get.
And spares is the name of the game.
It is.
Yeah.
And so this will be the last question I think on this, and then we'll talk about the tournament coming up next week, Coach. On that, your spare game, are there lanes that favor the spare game and that make it harder? I don't know if I phrased that right, but are there certain patterns where you just kind of know that you're not going to be picking up as many spares?
28 feet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
I'm gonna take his word
Yeah.
for that one.
I was scraping on 28 feet Brooklyn, but I had a spare. I could not pick up my spare. And it took me out of the money. Every game, I was right at the end. I opened up because I couldn't pick up the spares on the 28 feet.
Yeah, and for me, it's certain shots. I mean, the flat oil patterns are probably the worst for spares because most people are used to hooking your spares, trying to go after. But that flat, if you're going straight up flat across, to me, those are the trickiest.
Okay.
If you just don't use a plastic and just shoot straight at all your spares,
You think that's easier? More consistent?
it's more consistent, but it's also harder because you're taking a plant and you're trying to shoot straight at it. And if
Right.
you're used to hooking it or curving it, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
But that's also why you watch even on TV, the bowlers, they leave a crap spare or split, they scoot over and they shoot straight. They typically don't hook it at spares, and we're house bowlers, we're used to hooking in spares. That's on sports shots. That's the hardest part. That's why strikes are for show, spares are for dough.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And to give you a little education, when he's talking about flat, it's the same relevance as to like 1-to-1 patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we mean.
The red, was it red square?
Red Square,
Red
U.S.
Square.
Open.
So on this note, Code, the app, is it what's the app that I have?
Kegel.
Kegel app. I always want to say a different word. I always forget whether it's Kegel or Kegel. Kegel app, I've got it on my phone. If you want to learn, if you're interested in these different patterns, or you just want to blow your own mind with your bowling knowledge, start to get into the, the different patterns. That's the sea that I'm swimming in right now and grounding. But it's very fascinating, and it's an app right there on your phone. You can pull it up and it shows you the topography and everything. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Are you guys bowling in the tournament next Sunday? Okay.
No, they're not. They never bowled my Sunday league.
Before we do that, the Strike and Spare Derby. Are you going to be joining us on some of those? Are you
Sunday
available?
nights?
Yeah.
Sunday night or Monday night.
I might get checked. I'm not sure. I haven't voted.
They're going great. You've done at least
Sunday
one.
I did the very first one.
He won the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
that's right. I did win the first one.
And didn't have to eat any jelly beans?
Did not have to eat any jelly beans, but I thought about it later. I should have still ate one. It just to do it. I
No,
still
you
should've
won.
tried. I know.
No.
I thought about it afterwards. I still should have manned up and ate one, but
Did you watch episode 3 when
I
when Byron ate the one that tastes like barf?
yeah.
Yeah, so what we're talking about with the jelly beans is we do the Strike and Spare Derbies on Sunday nights. As we move rounds, usually, depending on how many we have at the bottom, 2 will drop for each round. And the losers do a round of Bean Boozled. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Bean Boozled, it's a big thing of jelly beans, and there's a bunch of different flavors. And they'll look identical, but there's 2. And it'll say on the back, like, this is either going to be pomegranate or, like, dirty socks.
Or marshmallow rotten egg
Right.
or something.
Yeah.
It's either something really good or something really bad, and you don't know what you're popping. That's your consolation prize for the losers. But they are going really great. We've evolved from the time you joined us, and you even commented on that it's much more streamlined now.
Yeah, it was. The first night we did it, when we were doing it, it was going good, but it was taking a little longer. As it was going, we were talking about it. What can we do and speed it up? And I think how the third round ended
That was it.
is how it started from there, and it actually has sped it up. It is fun. It was good. I'm glad I won. The first one, nobody can take it from me. I won the inaugural.
Yeah.
So, in the record books, technically.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you had kind of a rough first round, didn't you? And then you really kind of charged in the second round.
No, I was intermiss. The lanes 1 and lane 2. I hate those lanes. Couldn't hit the pocket. I hit the pocket barely both frames. I never got negative points.
Yeah.
And then went to last 4. Struck the next 4 frames. The next round did the same thing. Barely touched the pocket, and then went to the next 3 out of the 4.
Yeah.
I got a stone 10 pin, I believe, in one of those rounds. And then in the championship, the spare round did good, and the championship round put me on lane 2, and I had to strike to win, and I struck. So I did strike on that lane.
When is that next one?
When's the next Strike?
Well, the next one, we've got 8 set up for this coming Monday night, so tomorrow night.
It's full.
Yeah, it's going to be 8 of them, and we're actually going to do a bracket. We're going to qualifying round and then a bracket, and we're going to pair them against each other.
I'm just coming to watch.
Yeah, no, come down here and watch us. We had a couple last week.
Yeah.
But this time they're going for $40 per.
All right.
So if there's 8 of them, there's going to be $320 in the pot. And that's because of them.
They are going really well. There's all types of cool things going on here that damn good average bowlers is doing. So always looking for new members. Support the brand, support what we're doing. Mike is doing a lot of cool things here. Mike, why don't you talk about the invitational only tournament that we're doing next Sunday?
Well, next week, as I said in our pregame a little bit on, I wanted to get tournament experience for those that have never bowled in a tournament before, because our Sunday night league is like the AA, AAA of baseball. It's just like the minor leagues. They mainly a lot of recreational bowlers that just want to have a good time, and they could stay in that level if that's what they want to do. But we do have some of them, like our winner today, Jeff Heath. He used to bowl in the league, so he's actually bowling in that tournament next week because he was a paying member. And get them some experience if they want to move up. So if they want to move up to like a sanctioned league, they can go bowl the sanctioned tournament like you got, like Nick used bowling the city tournament. And, just like I said, stuff like that. We had some bowlers today that are up in Columbia, Tennessee that you didn't see here at the sweeper because of more grueling, demanding format.
Well, that's a great point because it is quite a game changer. I don't know if you guys remember. We'll do maybe one memory each, and then we'll take us on out of here. But maybe one of the first tournaments you did, or the first time that it was maybe not just an unsanctioned league or you're hanging out with your buddies, but maybe a time where you got the nervous jitters and did something dumb or something like that. Because it can be. The environment's different. It changes.
Nick got nervous in the summer when he shot 299 on me.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a good shot though.
It was a good shot,
It
but the
was-
9-pin was laughing at him.
It was.
I can't give everybody.
Man,
It was
the
a.
one that laid down on me and stood back up.
Mm.
299.
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Mike brought up for me. That was probably the best 12th shot I've had when I've had 11 in a row, and a 9-pin stood up, waved to me, but was using single
Man,
finger.
I went stone 8 for 299 before.
Yeah.
And it was on 1 and 2.
I think the 3.
Nick might not like 1 and 2, but I like 1 and 2. Because I tell people all the time, if you're on 1 and 2 at the end of the league, that means you're on top.
There you go.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good
I'm
point.
never anywhere close to lanes 1 and 2. So I haven't seen those yet, but I take your word for it.
Yeah.
Again, Ricky, Nick, thanks for joining me, guys. Little bastards, 9 or better, both coming here today like there's something. But no, great job today, guys.
Well, we gotta mention our last teammate. 'Cause
Yes, the greatest secretary ever, Randall Reed.
is
He
our
even-
te- is our
We
teammate.
we did a custom, beaver logo for him. So he's now the damn good average secretary
We will be using that soon. That's one of my favorite logos. That
With the
one
briefcase.
yes.
with the
And
briefcase
a mustache.
He likes
and the
to-
backpack.
Like he could double as secretary or security.
Yes.
That's pretty good. The Halloween goatee that's on the dealer's face is amazing. So- Thank you everyone for joining. Again, send us any questions because like you've heard us talk about, we're evolving as we go. There's a lot of cool things. Our learning rate is the same as well. We're trying to fix things as we can, streamline things as we go. And we listen. You guys have suggestions, like we talked about. Hey, the strike and trade derby's already changed. We're trying to streamline as much as we can to make the product better and to get more people involved. If you know how to bowl and you just kick ass everywhere, it's kind of intimidating. We get those people in, but what you find out is that handicaps, they help a lot in leagues and things like that. And
They do.
and it's funny in bowling, man, you may be watching rubbernecking to see what's going on in the lanes next to you, but people think that if they're not a good bowler, they're they're embarrassed about their score being up there. Right? But you gotta laugh. But it's like you tend to be so worried on your own score. There's not many people looking and laughing at other scores over there.
Right.
Am I on to something here, guys?
Yeah.
Because
No.
Best thing about this tournament, though, when Mike got it up, I let me know you bowl against the best and the one that ain't so best. And the best don't bowl no better than you do.
Yeah.
So that makes you feel good on the ball. Compete with them.
The oil patterns really do level the playing
It
field.
does. It levels
It does.
And again, like we talked about, you may know exactly what you need to do, but you still got to execute it. So
I knew every shot not to pull it.
Yeah.
But I pulled it. I had first game. I had strike spare 4 in a row,
Hmm
and then pulled it.
When I was looking at the first game scores, I looked at Dustin. I said, we may have our first 600 be a W today. And it was.
And we did. Just to recap, to close out of the recap, we had Jeff Heath, who actually had to take off to Birmingham. He bowled a 633, and then right here, Mr. Rickey Graham had the 620. So our only 2 scores, as Coach said, and we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the only 2 series over 600 so far through
Out of 5 sweepers.
through 5 sweepers.
I feel
So,
good about that.
man. Well, thanks again, Jeff, Nick. Thank you guys for joining. Thanks for participating. Everybody out there, thanks for watching. The Damn Good Bowlers, sweeper number 5. Lots of cool things going on right here at Penn Palace. Tomorrow night is the next Strike and Spare Derby. Support the brand.
Yeah.
Come bowling. Learn it up. Have fun. We'll see you next time.
So what time?
After league.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Enjoy.